Malaysia. 40 minutes from the nation's capital city of Kuala Lumpur lies the town of Seremban, population 372,917. It is within Seremban that a special event is taking place. It is a gathering of students of Wong Chung leaung, a man described by Bruce Lee's first student, Jesse Glover, as the best Wing Chun man in the world.
王信係一個好偉大嘅一代宗師。其實呢個係好難得，以往從來未試過嘅。
People from all over the world.
Denmark, Canada, Australia, Malaysia, Hong Kong.
It's actually a very good event because it's very rare that we have a lot of Wong Chung lineage students getting all together.
嚟馬來西亞咧，就抱住一個好期待嘅心態。
First ever, so I'm very pleased to be part of such a momentous occasion.
Fantastic.
Presiding over this get-together is David Peterson, one of Wong Chung leaung's top students.
Actually quite overwhelming to see this place so full of people that represent the legacy of that gentleman up there. None of us would be here, none of us would be doing what we're doing. We wouldn't have the friendships that we've already made and the ones that we will make over the next 2 days if it hadn't been for Sifu Wong Chung and his efforts to take people like me and John and all the other presenters and help us and craft us and mentor us to where we are now is what it's all about. Had he not done that, had he not been the incredible man that he was, we'd have nothing to show you and you'd have nothing to practice. So really the true credit and why we are here is to celebrate Wong Chung. So first and most importantly, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for being here.
其實我爸爸就個人本身比較一個實在嘅，因為點解咧？其實以前咧，佢對一般，譬如我哋講學功夫啊，咁好多人即係問佢，咁邊個師傅啲手又點樣樣啊？功夫玩成點啊？好唔好啊？咁其實佢一個就佢絕少會話人哋唔好批評，但係好佢會讚嘅。咁佢亦都好少會鬧人嘅。咁唯一佢有時真係會鬧嘅係咩咧？當嗰個人咧係做一啲即係好似好欺騙式嘅，即係好似我揾你唔係好老實，即係可能人嘅，咁佢就可能會鬧。咁佢本身係一個比較真係比較實在咯，比較實在嘅人。
My Sifu ended up training martial arts after trying a variety of things. He didn't like listening to people boasting, and he had quite an attitude about trying to stop people big-noting themselves. And whenever he heard people telling what he considered were outrageous stories about their martial prowess, he would tend to call them out on it, and got himself into a lot of trouble as a young lad, getting into scrapes at school and so on. Eventually he dabbled in a few different arts. He did some Tai Chi and he did some other martial arts, and the thing that he really enjoyed was boxing. And he became very, very good at boxing. Some say he was Golden Glove standard.
其實咁樣咧，可能即係大家會知道咧，其實佢係好中意咩咧？佢係好中意睇西洋拳嘅，因為好多嘢好直接嘅。因為我細個咧成日陪住佢一齊睇啲西洋拳比賽嘅。
咁因為佢曾經講過，佢未跟阿葉問嗰陣時咧，未學詠春嗰時咧，佢用西洋拳都打低好多人嘅。佢亦曾經講過一句説話。當年咧係武林界中國武術係唔係咁中意嘅？佢話一般嘅中國武術咧，阿爸教俾仔，仔咧就教俾一路一代一代咁傳落去嘅，係冇實踐過、冇實習過嘅。 但係西洋拳咧，佢係一種好實實在在嘅，每日做嘅嘢就體能攻擊，係冇咁多花巧嘅嘢，冇咁多花招去做嘅嘢。
Story goes that he had a bit of a falling out with his coach. They were sparring, and during the fight, he accidentally hit his coach in the nose, and the coach turned around and got very, very severe and started beating into my teacher, at which time my teacher turned around and flattened the coach and walked out of the gym and never came back.
Wong Chung came from a boxing background and he was very much a brawler, and he was looking for the ideal way of fighting.
But he was still searching for something because he'd been told stories by his father and his grandfather about leaung, the Grand Master of Wing Chun back in Fatshan, because both his grandfather and father came from that district. He was from an area called Shunde, or Sundak in Cantonese, which is the very same area where Wing Chun originated in southern China. And so he always wanted to learn the martial art of leaung. He wasn't too sure what it was called, but that was the martial art he wanted to learn.
我最初學詠春嘅時間，我都仲係好細，大概係17、18歲。喺嗰陣時咧，仲係一種小孩心性，因為我個子咧係比較細，咁咧成日咧自己又要做到強，變咗自己好醉心於學武術。
And when he found out about Wing Chun, his cousin decided to take him up to visit the school, and it was at the beginning of the Chinese New Year period where things are very quiet in Hong Kong. Everybody takes time off and stops working and goes back to visit the family in the villages and so on. So when he arrived at Yip Man's school, there were only a handful of students training, and they were mostly new students, nobody really significantly advanced. And he and his cousin were there and asked if he could watch the class. And they watched for a while, and he wasn't terribly impressed because they were standing there doing simultaneous form and doing some basic chi sao, and it didn't look very impressive to someone who'd done boxing and been in quite a few scrapes, and he couldn't really figure out what the connection was with fighting. So he said to Yip Man, I don't think this is any good, or words to that effect. And Yip Man said, well, you want to try it? You think you can try yourself out against one of my students? So Sifu immediately said, yeah, I'll have a try. So he called over one of his students who just happened to be a relative of Yip Man's. Probably best I don't mention names. And within a very short amount of time, my Sifu had plastered him onto the wall with his boxing skills. So Yip Man sort of smiled knowingly and said, I'll get you someone else. And he grabbed another student, and pretty much the same thing happened. And so at that time, Yip Man then said to him, would you like to try me out?
When he first met Yip Man, Wong Chung was like, I want to test you out, old man. You know, and he'd done some boxing and he'd done some street fights, and he was not going to just take it on faith that Yip Man's Wing Chun was that good, that this guy was a real Kung Fu master.
當然葉問有好多徒弟可以打嘅，但係嗰個時咧，因為將來過年係冇人上去，嗱譬如好似徐上田啊、葉步青啊、梁相啊、樂耀行啊，都冇一個喺度。
So my Sifu thought, well, yeah, if the students are that bad, the old man can't be any better. So he said, yeah, I'll try you. And what transpired was a very interesting situation where Yip Man apparently just shut him down every time he moved.
佢同我打時咧，葉問好定。佢亦都唔打我住，因為我地方唔係好大，佢一路逼我，一路逼我，我一路 jab 佢，我 jab 佢嘅時間咧，佢都冇發到拳打我，佢只係攞住我啲位，攞住啲位，攞住啲位，一路係咁逼我，逼到我埋牆角度，咁佢突然間飆埋嚟咧，一揦住我個手，一揦住咧，擺個拳頭喺我面度，擺喺身度。
Every couple of seconds he found himself up against the wall and completely under control with his limbs all trapped, and Yip Man very gently tapping him on the top of the head or on the nose or on the chin or on the chest, letting him know that I got you. And he found it very frustrating, but he was kind of overwhelmed by how easily the old man was doing this.
因為佢採取西洋拳嗰種打法咧，佢俾葉問逼到佢埋牆，而係葉問係唔打佢嘅，而令到佢唔知點出手嘅，咁佢先覺得咧係詠春咧係比西洋拳更加實用。
So Yip Man, after about the third or fourth round, said, why don't you take a seat? And around that time, one of the more senior students, a gentleman called Yip Bo-ching, who was one of the early students in the very first wave of students, he came along, and Yip Man apparently took him to one side and they had a bit of a chat. And then he motioned to my teacher and said, "Oh, I'm just going to go into the other room and make a pot of tea." And my Sifu's cousin turned to him and said, "Oh, isn't that really nice of him? You know, he lets us come in and lets us do some training, and now he's going to make you a cup of tea." And Sifu laughed and said, "He's not making us a cup of tea. He's going to tell his student how to beat me up." And sure enough, cut the story short, after a little while, Yip Bo-ching came out and they had a match.
咁咧，我去到葉步青喺呢度，但係當時佢同我打咧，佢個拳係好重，但係我記得我嗰陣時都有打傷嘅佢。不過佢打得我仲緊要啲，打得我好滿面啲血嘅，因為我好常咧，我打佢呢啲位，變咗咧佢流血個機會多一倍高。但我都打傷到佢有嘢啦，不過咧就唔係咁緊要。但係佢變咗佢係高手長咧，變咗佢打住我嘅話咧，變咗我睇唔我係傷比較唔傷一啲。
We always eagerly said to Sifu, "What happened?" And he said, "Oh, I won't say that he won, but I won't say that I lost. I'll just say that I was so impressed, I came back and joined as soon as the classes started at the end of the New Year period. And that was how I became a student of Yip Man."
到我學嘅時間咧，嗰陣時都唔係咁多人識知道有詠春呢個名。我喺嗰陣時咧，即係我聽我父親講咧，我啱啱又係呢種功夫咧，變咗咧，雖然覺得好悶，都好心機學。到我學咗落去咧，覺得詠春咧係好有合理嘅理論基礎，同埋好有數學觀念，係同一般武術都唔係咁同。所以咧，我好勤力咁學。但係嗰時葉問咧，曾經問我學咗冇幾耐，喂，你學功夫嚟嘅？我當時答佢我嚟打交，佢好開心。佢話個個學功夫都話我嚟 defend。佢話你冇講大話，佢話個個都講大話嘅。佢話根本你話要自衛，你可以唔使學功夫，人哋打你咪可以走嘅。佢話你既然話你學功夫我嚟打交嘅咧，佢話你先係講真。
因為嗱，以前由葉問開始教都係一個禮拜7日噶嘛，冇放假噶嘛，所以嗰陣時咁多打得嘅出嚟就係咁解。
亦都有一次咧，我喺度練緊個沙包嘅時間，我記得佢同阿梁相講，佢話你睇呢個僆仔嗰時個僆仔，佢雙眼咧根本就喺度打緊人。佢話呢個僆仔咧，1年後咧，佢搞亂咗香港嘅。
Wong Chung is one of the best liked by Yip Man, I would say. It's him, the one that is the most important figure within Wing Chun that